Well, you haven't read about it already. It's the big political controversy raging in the country now. Social media giant Facebook is at the center of an erupting political scandal over alleged inaction against hate content on its platform linked to BJP politicians. The controversy has raged after a report in the Wall Street Journal which claimed that Facebook turned a blind eye in India to hate speech by BJP Telangana MLA T. Raja Singh and 3 other Saffron party leaders. The report claimed that Facebook did not ban the accounts promoting or participating in violence on the intervention of top public policy executive in the country, Ankhi Das. That's the person you see on your screen. The Wall Street Journal says Ankhi Das, who is Facebook's top public policy executive, acted at the behest of the government to actually not censor that person's content. She allegedly favored the BJP, says this article. The ban, according to the report, was spared to avoid damage to the business prospects of Facebook in India. Meanwhile, Facebook has clarified that they prohibit hate speech and content that incites violence and said that they enforce these policies irrespective of any political position or party. Well, the Facebook hate speech row has now turned into a full-blown political war. BJP has officially and unofficially refuted the opposition charges that Facebook is biased towards the Saffron party. The BJP has claimed that Facebook is actually harsh on the party. That's the irony here. They claim that in the run-up to the 2019 general election, Facebook took down over 700 pages, most of them sympathetic to a nationalistic narrative that was seen to be pro-BJP. Yesterday, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi alleged that the BJP and RSS control Facebook, WhatsApp in India as well, and said that the BJP uses these tools to spread fake news.
ये फेसबुक है, व्हाट्सएप है, ये हिंदुस्तान में अपनी जो निर्धारित नीति है उसका पालन ना करके और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मदद करने के लिए उनके जो घृणा फैलाने के, देश को, समाज को बांटने वाले जो मैसेजेस हैं वो अलाउ करते हैं। और ये राहुल जी ने अकेले नहीं कहा है, बल्कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर इसको जो मॉनिटर कर रहा है अमेरिका की मीडिया, उसने पूरी तरह से कहा है कि हिंदुस्तान में ये हो क्या रहा है।
These are not only unfounded allegations, but this is the typical characteristic feature of the Congress party and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He is a failed leader and these are frustrated utterances of his. According to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, only the Gandhi Vadra Parivar, the family, is the most pious in the sacrosanct family. Rest all institutions are no institutions at all. They're all bought and sold and they don't exist.
जो हेट स्पीच है, लगातार भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं के, अब तक फेसबुक ने उसे क्यों नहीं मिटाया? लगातार शिकायतों के बाद भी वो हेट स्पीच वैसे ही बनी पड़ी है। कहीं ना कहीं फेसबुक लगातार भारतीय जनता पार्टी से साझा कार्यक्रम चला रहा है, देश की जनता को गुमराह कर रहा है।
हर दिन एक कहानी, एक किस्से गढ़ना, मढ़ना और गढ़ मढ़ करके जो है वो लोगों के सामने लाना। लेकिन दिक्कत इनकी ये हो रही है कि इनकी सारी किस्से, सारी कहानियां, सारे दुष्प्रचार, सारे फ्रॉड और फैब्रिकेटेड कहानियां एक्सपोज होती जा रही है। और वही नहीं एक्सपोज हो रही है, बल्कि इनके नेता भी एक्सपोज हो रहे हैं। और उसका नतीजा है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी आज जो है वो सिमटती सिकुड़ती जा रही है और फैमिली फोटो फ्रेम में फिक्स पार्टी बन गई है।
In this 2019 general election, it was the Congress party that was attempting to align with Cambridge Analytica to manipulate the data on Facebook. It is a different matter that they did not succeed and people dumped them at the hustings. The matter is under investigation. CBI is looking into it. As far as hate speech goes, and Congress's fake concern for it is concerned, the investigation must start from Sonia Gandhi, whose speech in December of 2019 led to wide-scale rioting, death and destruction in Delhi.
Amidst this political eruption that has taken place between the Congress and the BJP, like everything else in this country, over Facebook, Facebook's top officer for public policy, Ankhi Das, has now filed a complaint with the cyber cell of the Delhi police. Ankhi Das, who heads Facebook India's public policy wing, has revealed that she's been receiving death threats ever since this Wall Street Journal article came out and was picked up by the Congress party. She's The Wall Street Journal has refused to take down the post, and Facebook has refused to take down a post by the BJP's Telangana MLA T. Raja Singh. Ankhi Das reportedly has been accused of holding staff members from taking down that controversial post. Raja Singh has highlighted that he doesn't have a Facebook account and has not posted anything communally sensitive. Facebook has denied the allegation, saying it prohibits hate speech and content which incites violence. Before we go into our big face-off over transparency, the jury of hate, and whether Facebook has secretly been taking sides between the BJP and the Congress, especially during the elections, these are the 5 most basic big questions that we're asking here on 5 Live. Question number 1, has Facebook, this is the question everyone's got on their minds if you've read the story, has Facebook favored a particular political party? Question number 1. Question number 2, is this really a fight over freedom of expression? Because social media is supposed to be about freedom of expression. Number 3, who decides what is objectionable and should be deleted? There are problems with Facebook considering that it's an algorithm that actually picks up on these things, not really a human. It only then goes on to a human team. Is non-transparency Facebook's biggest problem that has led to even this particular issue? And question number 5, how can Facebook defend action versus inaction or non-action in other cases? I can take you to Facebook right today, viewer, and it'll take me 5 minutes to show you hundreds of instances of offensive content, hate speech, poisonous material, and stuff that can incite violence in the real world. That is the truth as far as Facebook is concerned. Joining me live now, I have Shama Mohammed, senior leader, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Charu, coming to you first. The irony in this entire situation is that the Wall Street Journal article comes at a time when the BJP has itself been saying that Facebook is biased against you. I don't get it. Are people caught somewhere in between? Is Facebook seen to be taking sides? Because the allegations made in the Wall Street Journal article are extremely glaring. They haven't been substantiated. They're based on sources who are formerly with the company, etc., not substantial sources, but they're serious enough to, pay attention to. But what is this? What's going on, Charu? Because the BJP says Facebook is biased against us.
So, Shiv, the irony is not lost on me, and let me take you through some of the points that I have thought about to discuss today. The most important thing, which is glaringly obvious to every single Indian, is that Rahul Gandhi ji relies only on foreign news, whether it is about the border clash with China, whether it is about how safe India is for women, and today, which stand Facebook is taking politically. Everything Rahul Gandhi says and does is based on foreign media.
Rahul Gandhi for a moment.
Now, No, I am coming back to the Facebook issue only, but this is very important and very pertinent to note. Why is he so fixated on foreign media and not so important he feels that the things which are going on in India are? The second point I want to make is, and note these names very carefully, Ajit Mohan. Ajit Mohan is the India head of Facebook. He's a former congressman. The second person I want to name is Manish Khanduri. Manish Khanduri used to be a former head of news partnerships for Facebook. He is now in the National Executive Committee for Social Media of the Congress Party. What does this show you? They are interchanging their employees. The jobs are interchangeable. Their nexus is so deep and so strong. And now they are accusing Facebook of taking a side. Leaving aside the fact that whether we are accusing Facebook of taking sides or not, let me also point out to you some very obvious things. Congress Party makes a big hue and cry about an article written in a foreign journal, which is neither fact-checked, which neither has views from both the... It's
voice when Amul's post was taken off Twitter, when they made a beautiful creative which was anti-China during the border conflict. So what does this show you? The facts are pointed against Congress, and this just goes on to show how singular their point of view is, how lost they are when it comes to the reality on ground of Indian politics.
Okay, Shama, okay. I don't want to talk about, this is not about Rahul Gandhi, this is not about parties in general. I want to keep this as focused as possible on Facebook because there is an issue here, Shama. I know this has become a political issue. You can answer all the things that Charu also raised. But the question I want to ask you is because both the BJP and the Congress party have at various points of time claimed that Facebook is biased. My question is, and I'm genuinely curious about this, Shama, is this an issue of non-transparency at Facebook's level and not so much about the people who are on there?
Okay, give me some time.
Yeah, please answer.
Shiv. First and foremost, the report is come. I think the lady just said that some foreign journal. Maybe she is not able to understand what Wall Street Journal is. It's not a small paper. It's a very well-known paper. It's not an article published by the
Charu, let her
the biggest paper.
If she
interrupts, come back to you one at a time. Substantive
if this
discussion.
lady interrupts, I'm leaving the debate.
No.
Please
Nobody's
teach her the
interrupting.
etiquette
You
of
can finish your
debating.
point. I'll come back
Maybe
to
she's
you.
a new lady here. Please, otherwise I'm leaving the debate. I'm telling you, Shiv. I'm not going to stand for these BJP people who interrupt.
You've heard me, Shama. Continue.
My God. Shiv, can you see the intolerance even on a TV debate?
Charu, come on.
Look at
Come
the language.
Let's not.
It's not nice. Not this language, please.
Let's not do this. We're all mature people here.
Did I speak a word when you said? Have some decency.
No, just go.
So,
Shama,
Shiv,
go for it. Finish your point, then I'll go back.
Couple of points.
Well, we have limited time. We can't go on like this.
Very well-known paper all over the world. It is not the Congress party. Now, what are the issues they have raised? One is there are a couple of things very important. They have taken down name, and I'm quoting them. They say Anki Das, who heads Facebook India, said, we shouldn't ban the ruling party's hate speech as it will affect our business.
A source has said that.
Then she says, has provided and the paper also says it has provided BJP with favorable treatment on election-related issues. Now, let me make it very clear, this is not the Congress party. Now, a couple of points, and this is one.
But Shama, these are all sources, you should mention that also.
No, I'm also going to come to that. These are not fake. There's one point about fake news. There is other point about all these hate speeches. And the third is a foreign body, along with Bharatiya Janata Party, is getting involved in changing the way elections are run in this country. Now, these are very, very huge allegations. Now, what I want to ask, wait a minute, let me finish. Now, she kept saying about some Congress people, somebody joined from Facebook here, and she said so many things. Okay, let me just tell her one thing, is that we are ready for a probe, a joint parliamentary committee probe. You have allegations coming from outside of this country, very strong allegations. And also we've taken it up and these are proved. You have seen the hate speech was not removed of Mr. Singh. Later when they got to know about it, Facebook, they started removing certain things. So we want a joint parliamentary committee probe. Why are they, any time when an allegation comes, Shiv, during our time, allegations have come. What did we do when they asked for a joint parliamentary committee probe and we felt the need for it? We have gone for it. We have done joint parliament. We have done various other investigations also. CBI probes, whenever. But what I'm asking is, we are asking for it to be transparent. We want to know the truth. Because a foreign body coming in to change the democratic part of my country. And getting involved in the elections, I have to ask her. And then there is a minister like Ravi Shankar Prasad. Every time something happens, they go and attack Rahul Gandhi. What is this? You talk about the issue. Rahul Gandhi, what is
No, Rahul Gandhi can be attacked. I'm guessing because it's a political issue and Rahul Gandhi had tweeted about it. Come on, Shama. All that is fair game in politics. Forget about that. I want to get into the substance of the issue. I want to get into the substance of the issue. No, just as the Congress has every right to attack Narendra Modi on the Facebook issue, I think the BJP has the right to attack Rahul Gandhi. That's come on. That is beyond question. I am simply asking right now.
Why are they not ready for a...
But you know, Shama, for instance, I don't speak for any side. I believe that the problem might actually be with Facebook itself and not the BJP or the Congress in this instance. I'm wondering whether there is
Shiv, can I come in on facts and not ramble on like
one second. One small corollary for you, Shama, and then I'll bring Charu in on the same issue. My question is, last year in 2019 during the election, before the election, the BJP went to town saying 700 pages have been removed by Facebook and most of them happen to be, sympathetic to nationalism and the saffron cause. How does one explain that? That's what I'm saying. If something like, and some of those pages had millions of likes.
So before the elections, the Facebook removed a lot of content of the Congress party.
And
but
the BJP.
they silently removed it. They didn't name BJP. They did not name BJP, but they silently removed it. Now, what I'm trying to say is that when there is an allegation from abroad coming in, and Mark Zuckerberg was questioned by the Senate regarding Cambridge
The
Analytica.
Wall Street Journal does not name a single person. It quotes sources. How do we know it's not a hatchet job?
Yes.
Anyway, that's not the point.
Shiv.
Why not?
Can I come?
Why not?
And now?
Let me finish. What I'm saying, Shiv, is why not going for a probe?
No,
If there
based
is
on a
an
Wall
allegation
Street Journal
only
report,
has the-
Shama, you're asking for a parliamentary
Shiv,
probe
Shiv,
based
1
on a
minute.
Wall
We
Street
need to
Journal
move
report
beyond this
that doesn't
rambling and
name a
talk on
single
facts.
person.
Can we do
No,
that?
I'm not going to let her speak till I finish.
Okay,
speaking
reply to
because
that,
she's going
Charu.
on interrupting.
Is a joint parliamentary probe not on the BJP but on Facebook? Is there a joint parliamentary probe going to happen on
on these
Facebook? And
allegations?
let me say once again, this is an issue of who is the jury on hate speech. If both of you ladies join me on Facebook right now, I can easily take 5 minutes and show you hate content from both sides. I can guarantee you I can find you hate content of abuse towards Rahul Gandhi and abuse towards Modi happening parallelly on Facebook.
So,
How do you explain that?
Can I get some time without this lady rambling
Let
in my
Charu
ear
answer now,
continuously?
Shama. Let Charu answer.
Yeah. Okay. Now, most importantly, let's stick to the facts. I think my Congress counterpart is not aware of the history of Facebook. They have replied to the Congress in the USA. They have replied to the UK Parliament and also to the IT Parliamentary Committee right here in India before elections. So there have been issues with all these social media platforms because many a times we find their norms to be opaque. And we are trying to fine tune that and make it as transparent as possible. Also, I'm very strict when I say this. Freedom of speech does not mean that you can take over the rights of another person and you can harm the dignity of another. So hate speech is a no-no. It doesn't matter which side it comes from. Most importantly, the Congress spokesperson thinks that she's answering me, but I am only speaking to the people of this country. And I am saying this. Did she have an answer about all the questions I raised about this interchanging of employees between Facebook and Congress? Did she have an answer about foreign journals being what the Congress party bases all its allegations on? She didn't. Okay, you can go on and say, oh, Wall Street Journal is a very big one, but come on, it's still a foreign journal. Was it fact-checked? Was it verified? Name the sources. And were the sources from both the sides of the spectrum? It's a singular story. The sources are also very, very vague. And come on, even a layman is going to look at it and say this is a one-sided opinion piece written and a big hue and cry is being made about this right here in India. And people like this Congress spokesperson come and they think just being rude on television is all that they need to do. Madam, let me tell you, Rahul Gandhi cannot even win the trust of his own party. Does not win the trust of Indians for sure.
Let's not make it about Rahul Gandhi. No, not about Rahul Gandhi.
Stop and
Yeah.
So the kind of hate speech that you are indulging in right now,
Shama,
even
you
on
don't
this
need to answer on
day, and the
Rahul
way
Gandhi.
you're
Answer on the
speaking.
substantive point. You've asked for a JPC.
Can I come
Shama. No. It's a fair demand. One second. The Congress has demanded a joint parliamentary committee. Shama, okay, that's fine. That's a substantive thing. Like Charu said, the Facebook isn't subjected to Senate level, Congress level scrutiny in other countries as well. My simple query is this. There are two things we're looking at, Shama. Just listen, just bear me out for 30 seconds and then I'll give you an uninterrupted time. I'm saying one, there doesn't appear, I mean, in terms of allowing hate speech on Facebook, there appears to be both sides or leniency to both sides. There appears to be because both sides have had problems with Facebook. Number two is the fact that the Wall Street Journal, and forgive me for saying this, and I respect the Wall Street Journal very much, and I have friends who write there as well, but this particular article seems pretty thin. It doesn't quote anyone directly. It only refers to sources. We use sources a lot in journalism as well, but this particular article seems very thin ground to base such a big attack over. That's what I'm saying, Shama.
So can I come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of points. In 2018, our data analytic head, Mr. Praveen Chakravarti, met the CEO of WhatsApp, met the CEO of the global CEOs of Facebook, and told them about the hate speech, about the fake news, all these things, and asked them to take stringent action. But nothing was done. You know what fake news has done, how many people have been lynched, about those child, kidnappers, various things. That is one part. But the hate speech, even Mark Zuckerberg had mentioned Kapil Mishra before during the Delhi riots incident, where he has incited hate speech and he has put in hate speeches in Facebook, and that has incited violence. So these are a couple of examples what I'm giving. So what I'm trying to tell you in this is that you asked me what is the role of BJP. Why is Anki Das, why is she telling, why does that article say that she has been much closer to the Bharatiya Janata Party and has provided favorable treatment to the Bharatiya Janata Party?
But it's a claim.
So since there are these, let me finish. Since our data analytic team has always complained about these hate speeches, and the maximum number of hate speeches come from the Bharatiya Janata Party. You don't hear from the Congress Party hate speeches in the, we've been hearing it continuously, and against Muslims. They also said the coronavirus was started by the Muslims.
I think she follows people only
by the Muslims.
Okay.
I'm not going to debate with this woman next time if she's here, because she keeps interrupting.
Okay.
Now, coronavirus was started by the Muslims, it was a hate speech on Facebook. And these are the things they have taken action on.
But that's what I'm saying. Does this have to do with the BJP or with Facebook? That's exactly what I'm saying.
So, okay,
Shama, that's the point I was making from the start. Is this about the BJP? So I get it. An allegation has been made that this is a kind of ecosystem that has been made possible by the BJP, going easy on lynch mobs, etc. I am saying, is this about Facebook rather than the BJP? Final point. I'm out of time. Charu, the Congress has demanded a JPC probe right now, like we've seen Facebook face scrutiny in other countries. Last question, ladies. Like we've seen Facebook face scrutiny in other countries, will Facebook face the same kind of scrutiny on the back of these controversies in India? Last question to you, Charu.
So, since the way
most definitely,
in America,
we should see the security of our citizens cannot be compromised in any manner whatsoever. I'm finding the other spokesperson used to royal treatment, like maybe Rahul Gandhi is. I cannot mollycoddle her here. Teach her how a debate goes. There are two people speaking, and if she cannot hold her own, let her stay off television. She's still not answered my claims about interchanging of employees, and I have not even gotten started on Cambridge Analytica and Facebook and the entire mess which cropped up during elections. And that is there for everybody to see. We are investigating more than you are concerned about. See, and you need to learn some manners, please. Like this, Congress is going to get even more finished and decimated in this country.
Okay, no, the Facebook hate row. The question over who's going to be the jury on hate speech, whether Facebook has been fair in all respects, whether Facebook's algorithm has slipped up a number of times, whether this is a case of non-transparency that has brought us to this pass, and it has happened in many other countries, including the United States, especially in the 2016 election, are all questions that we need to ask here. Is this about secret favors for a particular ideology or a political party, or is it about Facebook itself taking the path of least resistance? All up for scrutiny, up for investigation. Charu and Shama, thank you very much for joining me here on 5 Line.